Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking all things real estate, and want to thank you for joining us. And then just to encourage you, if you haven't, please take a minute and subscribe to the channel, like the video. Just helps us with getting the word out and growing the channel. And today...
Hey, some good news.
Some good news.
Right? Young Canadians under 30 years old are buying homes sooner than expected.
Great news.
So we need more of this kind of news. Mm-hmm. You know, there's so much doom and gloom, so much negativity, housing crisis, housing shortage, affordability, this, that, the other thing, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about this. RBC is reporting Housefull survey showing first-time homebuyers in Canada are successfully navigating a challenging housing market and purchasing ahead of their schedule by making more trade-offs.
Okay.
Like, you know, there's this expectation for the longest time. You know, we move out of our parents' house and we think we can buy like a similar house to what our parents had. And like that expectation is just not a reality in most cases.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe if it's a little bit more rural Canada, maybe on the maritime provinces, that's more doable unless they have like a huge mansion or something. Mm-hmm. But getting into a starter home.
Sure.
And a starter home doesn't look the same as a home in New Brunswick to a home in Toronto, Vancouver.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I've gone over stats before. 62% of first-time home buyers in those metropolitans, they bought condos.
Yeah. Well, you know, in Edmonton, my first house or home that I owned was a coach home, which is basically like a townhouse, 2-bedroom coach home.
Okay. So it was like they're stacked on, like
That's
it's
right.
a small...
Two. They're stacked on top of each other.
Okay.
And so...
Oh, it's a low rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still had, you know, stairs up and I had my own deck and everything for my barbecue and stuff like that, but...
It was a starter home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So more. The finding reveals that first-time home buyers in Canada under 30 years of age are successfully buying their first home sooner than they expected by adapting to larger trade-offs that would have traditionally been considered deal breakers.
Okay.
Housefull is on a mission to power confident decisions through the home owning journey. Yeah, so are we. And these insights can provide a more viable blueprint for other first-time home buyers in a difficult market.
Okay.
I think these are the conversations the media, everybody, realtors need to have. Like, we need to set expectations.
Yeah.
Like, my kids are what, 11, 13, 15, 17. They're all going to turn to evens next by the end of May. Mm-hmm. And we're already having that conversation about, like, we're in Victoria. It's not Vancouver prices, Toronto prices, but it's still difficult to enter into the market.
Right.
We're having all those conversations now ahead of time. Maybe it's not here we go, here's the first one. First-time home buyers are willing to give up size.
Right.
So smaller and smaller spaces. According to this survey, first-time home buyers under 30 are willing to embrace smaller living spaces, which ended up being 65% compared to those over 30, which maybe only 47% would consider smaller spaces.
Okay.
I can understand that.
Sure. I mean, in the end, as long as the space works, right?
Yeah, and you know, you're over 30, you probably, you know, you're kind of moving on in your wage that you're earning, mm-hmm. and you're collecting more crap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
You know, how many cars did you have by 30? Or like you've gone through cars and like there's just stuff you accumulate, right?
Yeah.
So you can't be just like a vagabond living out a suitcase.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, that's interesting that more and more people are willing to accept a smaller space.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, the second point, I think this has to like be drilled home to home buyers. It's for now, not forever.
Very good. Yeah, that one's very good.
So instead of seeking a forever home, younger first-time home buyers recently in the market are prioritizing finding a home that's right for them at their current life stage. So over half of them said they would have bought their dream home, or yeah, just over half of those under 30 said they would have bought their dream home versus over 30, 72%. So, it's still, yes, there's more that are going for, it's for now, not their forever home.
Yeah.
So it's kind of split on that decision. And obviously, as you get older, they want to hold out longer.
Yeah.
You know what? Wherever you are, if you're not on the property ladder yet, get on it.
Yeah.
You want that dream home. It might not come now. It might be 20 years away.
Sure.
Right? You want that big house, or 10 years away, depending on career, equity, investments, all of those things. So, but if you sit around on the sidelines hoping to save up enough investments, unless you're the all-star investor, you're like Buffett reimagined or something, the chances of your wage increase being significant to catch up to certain markets like Vancouver and Toronto, where they're equity driven, even the submarkets are equity driven too, because we see a lot of people that take cash out of Vancouver, cash out of Toronto, and various other places, and move to places like Victoria.
Sure. Yeah.
So they're not financing the whole amount.
Right.
Oh, and just to throw this in there, what is it? 20% of our sales. Now it's 30%, only because the number is smaller and the amount of buyers that paid cash are about the same. So we have about 2,000 sales, 1,900, 2,100, depending on the year.
Yeah.
They're all cash buyers.
Wow. Okay.
That's built up equity.
Sure.
And you don't do that sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You do that getting in on the property ladder and building up your portfolio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, here's a tough one for people, I think.
Okay.
Expanding your location preferences. So, I think there was an old saying, if you can't afford it here, you drive until you can afford it. You commute.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah.
Right, you move to the suburbs. I grew up in Ontario, so it's my parents drove 45 minutes away from, my dad commuted 45 minutes, 50 minutes to work every day.
Yeah.
So, we were in the rural part of Ontario.
Sure.
And then my dad got another job, and it's now we're moving to the city. But we built up a nest egg in another property.
Yeah.
And then moved on, right?
Yeah, no, that for sure. It's finding what you can afford and where you can afford it.
Yeah. So for younger first-time home buyers, location holds slightly less significance. You know what? With people more people have the ability to work from home.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're not more willing to live a little bit out there to afford something.
Sure.
Okay, so only about 30% of those under 30 prioritized it, compared to 35% of those over 30 that said location is very important.
Yeah.
And again, once you're over 30, you probably got into your career. And maybe, it's you start thinking about family, you start thinking about the school, where your kid's going to go to school, you have a partner. There's a lot more to consider as well as time goes on.
Yeah.
So the more purchasing power that first-time homebuyers had, the less compromises they wanted to make. So
makes sense.
So I'm not going to go through the rest of the survey. I'll just sum it up this way. First-time homebuyers that make between $100,000 and $150,000, they are less willing to compromise on the things that they want. If it's location, size, or things that are features in a home. Okay. And if they make more than that, and of course we know if you're making over $90,000, $100,000, you're in the top 10% of the income range anyways. Okay. As a salary for Canada. Yeah. And then I can't remember the next gap where it's less than 5%, right? Mm-hmm. So the higher your wage is, the less compromises you have. But I'm not really worried about that, because it gets to a smaller and smaller part of the population, especially as a non-homeowner. Yeah. But really speaking to the people that are trying to get into that first place.
Sure.
So, maybe you have to compromise a few things. Yeah. but the long-term, not just gratification, but the long-term investment that you're making.
Yeah.
Oh, you shouldn't be buying a house as an investment. It should just be to live. No. It's an investment because you're going to build up your equity. You're going to pay it down. It might appreciate some, and you can use that to move to your second home.
Right.
That could be your forever home.
Yeah.
Could be, well, now we need a home that will fit the family.
Yeah.
That kind of idea.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just want to keep that in mind and encourage everybody out there that, they see all the, I'm going to keep using this term, the doom goblins. The doom goblins saying, the market is this, the market is that. What do? There's another saying, and it's wise. It says, you can't time the market, right? You buy and you wait.
Yeah.
That's it. Even if you bought at the peak in 2007, I bought in the peak in 2007. My house, I think I got a really good deal. It might have gone down a little bit, but it's doubled since then.
Sure, of course.
At least, sort of,
Yeah.
right? And get in when you're ready.
Yeah.
If you got your down payment, if you don't, fine, work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you make some sacrifices to skip the short-term gratification of luxury items, trips, maybe. These things that probably are adding up on a credit card bill somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's clothing you like to spend money on. I don't know, but maybe sacrifice a few things. Start putting money away for a down payment.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, you work your credit. And then if your wage is not high enough, maybe you look at retraining. Maybe you look at something like a promotion that you can work towards, where you would qualify for more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or marry a dentist or a doctor
or a doctor or
engineer. I'm
a rich heiress.
A rich heiress. Anyways.
Then you'd be set. So.
Okay, so I know we're joking a little bit, but I'm serious about get all the basics in order.
Yep.
And then see where your income, your career, what you love to do, where does that fit?
Yeah.
Maybe Vancouver and Toronto is not all of Canada.
That is correct. Yes.
Right? We have so much focus on Vancouver, Toronto prices. It's so expensive. And the other markets have they're catching up, but there's still so many more opportunities out there. But you have to look for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's leave it at that.
Okay.
That's my dad's speech of the day.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today. And you know what? We'll catch you next time.
Take care. Bye.
See ya. I thought since we already talked about